What up? Hi-ho! Oh my gosh, y'all, I'm so excited. This is the second day in a row that I'm gonna be finished filming before work. I got up early. I just finished filming another month of the 2026 prediction series. And guys, this workshop, super potent. And not only are the videos super potent, super helpful, super precise about where our stumbling blocks are, where the opportunities are. The journal questions, I think, are going to be really, really fire. And, you know, whether or not you want to actually sit down and journal or just carry the questions in your awareness through the week, I think that my approach to this work is approach it with fun and joy and like, ooh, this is so fun. Like, make it nice for yourself. Make it a ritual that's delicious that you look forward to. Because spiritual work that we do when we feel laborsome or bemoaning of it or it's toilsome, it's not very effective, right? There's not a lot of power, potency in it. But God delights when we are excited to be there. We're excited for the hang, right? Let's catch up. What are you, like, what's the goss? Spill the tea, right? God loves our enthusiastic engagement as much as we would like that from our date sitting across from us, right? So the more we can enjoy the process, I think the more we get out of it. And so many times I am the person who gets a little bit daunted by the pressure of sitting and answering all the questions and giving it, you know, a really good, sit down and, or maybe, you know, it ends up being like several days worth of work, and you can make it as much or as little as you want to. In fact, if you want to give yourself permission to just hold the questions in your awareness, right? Until you feel prompted to answer them, right? Or maybe just give yourself permission to answer them right there in the moment, but just like a quick, imperfect answer is better than, you know, procrastinating and making it so that you feel like you have to sit down for an hour in order to give it your all. Like, whatever it takes to get it done. That's how I learned to be a runner. When I first started running, I did not enjoy running. It was very cumbersome. And I just gave myself permission that when I just felt like I couldn't run any longer, I would slow down and walk and stabilize and catch my breath and let my body rest. And then I would start running again. And that would help me build up momentum over time. And it would prevent me from dreading the experience because I knew it was going to be so excruciating, right? I didn't let myself go there because I didn't put myself through hell, right? So I made it fun and enjoyable, and eventually got to the point where I realized that slowing down to walk was only harder than just continuing to run and keep the momentum. So all that to say, whatever is your gateway drug in, right? It's dealer's choice. However you want to use the questions, but I think that they will really help you reveal a lot of light and a lot of depth. All right, so first card out, have faith. This week in the Torah portions, we are learning that like the key takeaway is basically when we go through trials and tribulations, like Jacob was in like 7 years of slavery and indentured servitude in order to merit his wife, his soulmate. And when we are in those trials and tribulations, that we, in order to like speed up the process so we don't just keep going around and around and around in the same pattern, because really that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to break the old patterns and have a conscious choice in creating ideal patterns, desirable, positive patterns in our life. So how do we do this? How do we speed up the process? By embracing the challenge, by actually enjoying it. Just like if you are enjoying a fun activity, the day goes by fast. But if you're forced to go do something that you don't want to do, then the day goes by slow and it feels like it's torture, right? So make it fun, right? Enjoy the process, embrace the process. At least understand that the process isn't punishment and you're not cursed. Right? That takes a lot of the pain out of the process right there. So have faith that everything is unfolding for your highest good and on your behalf. Your prayers are manifesting. Remain positive and follow your guidance. And remember, the best form of manifestation isn't us assuming that we know what's best and that's going to be best for us and then forcing our will into being. It's actually just letting ourselves let go of what is getting in the way of making us a more suitable vessel to channel what's truly in alignment with our highest authenticity. You know, just getting out of our own way, emptying ourselves out of our hardcore projections and expectations and allowing space for spirit to deliver. You know, we can get in touch with the essence of what we want, right? But ultimately I've learned that when I try to force what I want to happen, sometimes I get what I want, but it usually comes with a bit of chaos. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I wouldn't, if I'd have known, I would have passed. And that's because we're forcing things to happen because we think that they belong to us because we are attracted to that shiny object. But really, it may not be in our script. So I've learned that what brings me the most fluidity in my life, the most ease, the most flow, the most blessing, the most fulfillment, the most peace, is when I show up and make an effort in life, but I ultimately trust that what God brings me that sticks is going to be good for me and is meant for me. And it's going to bring me the ultimate fulfillment. And I can trust in God's plan because ultimately every time I do, I'm aligned with the thing that's the most fulfilling. Right? And if something is not going to be for me in my life, then God is going to graciously remove that from my situation and take that out of my life or encourage me to go in another direction. Our problem is that we always want to stick and grab on and hold on to our projection of what we think we want and we need, right? We ignore the red flags. We ignore that sometimes the obstacles are detours in a better direction, right? And so the challenge then in the mastery and the art of it then becomes discerning when it is a challenge that you are to persevere through, and when is the challenge a sign leading you in another direction. Soulmate relationship, ooh, funsies. New romance with a spiritual basis is here for you now. So, okay, maybe we have some new romance coming into our life. We're in the holiday season, so that's just a romantic time of year anyway. That, you know, brings us together with all of our friends and family. And, you know, soulmates aren't always just a level of relationship that we can have with a romantic partner, but sometimes these are the relationships that we have with that difficult relative or with the friends that are, you know, in our lives. These are the people that we have our spiritual soul contracts with, that have a poignant touch and effect on our lives, right, in some way. And sometimes they can come through briefly, and sometimes they can stay for a very long time. Now, if this is to do with seeing family and friends over the holidays, then, you know, try to find ways to appreciate them on deeper levels, that where maybe these are things, the qualities about them that not just like, oh, well, they're loyal and I love them for this and they're such a spark of life and they're the life of the party. Look for ways that you can appreciate things that you would initially not appreciate about them. Try to find ways to appreciate the things that you don't appreciate about them, or that you have taken for granted about them, that you've let slip, right? We're coming up on the holidays for Thanksgiving. And understanding that maybe the fun, good, cushy times that you have between all these soulmates is great, and these are lasting memories and bonds, but also the challenges and the friction that you rub up against with other soulmates is valid also and has its own value. And so just remember that if buttons get pressed over the holidays, or things come up and you're triggered, just know that these are soul assignments and lessons that are playing out. Everyone's playing their part in the role that they're supposed to. Everyone's going to be held accountable for their own actions. They're going to have to pay their spiritual credit card bill. But you ultimately just need to worry about how is this related to your own journey and process, your own becoming, your own growth, your own transcendence, okay? And so then on another aspect of that, we may actually be getting to the point where we've healed and we've done enough work and we've built enough self-awareness to start meriting soulmate level relationships. It's not that this is just like the one person that you were ever supposed to be with. Like, the universe can use your essence and core needs and wants and all of that to explore maybe other different options, right? Because people have free will. But ultimately, there are certain qualities that are going to be best suited to bring out the fullness of you and not just one side of you, right? So a soulmate relationship could happen, and there's not, it's not that it's not going to be challenging. It will, and you know, you might have some friction at times, but I would say go by 80-20, right? 80% of the time, this person brings out the best in you, the joyousness, all of life's goodness, right? A little bit of the time, you're going to butt heads with this person because we're not like identical prototypes, right? So people are going to have tics and things that you don't necessarily love or prefer. And then the other percentage of the time, they're going to be challenging you in positive ways that are going to be asking you to step out of yourself or grow or see things differently or mature your viewpoints about something or learn to be more understanding or sharing or go into deeper intimacy. But it's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows. There will be challenge. There will be obstacles. But it's like, are you building something with someone? Are you creating something of long-lasting value? Right? Or are they tearing you down and they're never changing and they're totally toxic and unwilling to change? Right? I think there's a difference between standing by someone through the ups and downs of life because they are like in it with you and they want to grow and they want to change and they want to make it work. And then there's the person that's just coasting with someone and living off of them and doesn't want to work on themselves and they just don't want to be out there on their own. And that's totally different story. That is a breach of contract. The other is the kind of partner that you want. So even in a soulmate situation, you will come up against difficulty. You will have to get through more challenging seasons, but they will be the person that you will be able to persevere with, or that you will have the chance to, because they are equally in it like you are. All right, what do we have here? Ooh, contemplation time. Take time out to think, to reflect. We're approaching the end of our Gregorian year, so there might be things that you want to complete or end on a high note. So spend time alone, meditating upon what you truly desire, right? This is the potent time for seed planting because those seeds are going to be gestating and fermenting or not fermenting, but they're going to be in the fertilizer and they're going to be gestating over the winter, right? We're in holiday season. We're finishing up the year. We're wrapping up, tying up loose ends, and we are planting seeds, right? But the concentrated work towards working these seeds and nourishing these seeds is going to be end of December, January, beginning of February, because then we're going to start really taking action on things in February, March, April. So contemplation time now gives you clarity and ideas and strategizing and a game plan of how you want these things to take shape. What it is that you want, the essence of what you want, and how it is that you want them to take shape, or how you think that you can make them happen and take shape. And then ready, set, go. All right, no hiding out, no procrastinating. Now is the perfect moment to dive in and embrace your heart's desire. So we're bird in daylight, right? We have to do our good works while we're still awake and living and above ground, right? So time is of the essence, and there's no time like the present. But this is definitely a very potent time for catalytic new beginnings. There's a lot of planetary aspects and movements that are going on between now and the beginning of next year into like the later February. And so there's just a lot of potent energy to start things and to have get things off on the right foot with a lot of momentum. And if we continue to stay disciplined and consistent, we can build that momentum. Don't feel like you have to burn yourself out. Like, make it so that you can sustain, but be consistent. Push yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone, but do it in a sustainable way where you're not burning yourself out completely, right? And try to find ways to make the energy that you have go further, right? I can't tell you how much difference it's made in the last couple of days, just starting earlier in the day. It feels like I have a disproportionately larger chunk of the day to use. It's amazing. So the Hawk Prince is coming up out of Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. Spirit communication and paying attention. So watch out for signs and synchronicities. Do yourself a favor and take time throughout every day to keep tuning in to divine guidance. Keep asking, like, out loud with your words for help, for support from the Creator, for strength, for directions from the angels, right? Any kind of assistance that you're so appreciative and grateful for, right? You want all of the help that you can get and all of the direction and guidance and protection that you can get. But sometimes we just need to recognize when we're being helped, when we're being guided, when we're being protected. And sometimes when that happens, we immediately look at it, we're like, oh, everything's going wrong. But sometimes we have to question that judgment right there and say, I'm judging this. Why don't I detach myself and observe? Instead of saying, this is wrong, just say, okay, this is what's happening. This could be good, right? Sometimes I've had shitty tables do shitty things to me at work. And then because of that shitty thing that happened, like management made it so that I had another like good table to make up for it. And they were like, you know, they left like a crazy tip or something like that. Like I've seen it happen in real time so many times that like something shitty can happen that as long as you don't say, this is shitty, oh my God, and get into a downward spiral of victimizing yourself and just think, okay, this happened, we'll just see how it plays out. The Creator can work through this, right? Help us, you know, Creator, do something with this, right? And then you might be exalted because of it. This could be your springboard into the gift, into the success. The Phoenix, resurrection, surrender to change. We're in Sagittarius season and I can feel it. I can feel the transformative fire of Sagittarius. I can feel our horizons expanding. Jupiter will expand what you give it. And so if you give Jupiter effort and self-emptying and change and transformation and earnest effort, then it is going to expand your efforts. And right now it's like this is such a wonderful time to be putting in that work because we have the optimism and the focus and the sort of piss and vinegar that Sagittarius has to really focus, but to like to really take the shot. You know, we have to believe in ourselves to take that shot, or else we just stay frozen. And we stay, you know, in the realm of dreams and fantasy and potential, and we get intoxicated there, and then we end up, you know, dilapidating there. So we need to get out of the land of the potential and into the land of the living, right? And this is burning off that old tendency to waste time and to live in a dream world and not make things happen. So now we're making things happen. So resurrection, a new surge of excitement and devotion and fortitude, and surrender to change. Let things change, let things happen. And it's like you've got to prepare your nervous system for that change because it will resist it. It won't be familiar. And even if it's good change, your nervous system will resist it. So like say, for example, you lose some weight, you get, you know, some muscle tone. Your nervous system isn't used to this excitement of feeling like you've got all this energy and you're liking what you're seeing and your clothes are fitting well. You're not used to that. It's not your comfort zone. It's not your familiar zone. So what does the nervous system do? It triggers the self-defeating habit of now I'm going to splurge, and you lose the progress that you made, right? If you have a little bit of extra money and you get a windfall into your account, get that little tax return back, what do you do with it? Splurge, squander it, spend it. You know, it's different if you have a plan where you're like, okay, I've been wanting this thing or I've been needing this thing for a while and I am consciously directing these funds to this thing. But when we just are like, ooh, I got some money in my pocket and it's burning a hole, that is reactive behavior. And that is our nervous system just emptying our account of what it's not used to, right? So we get a new relationship, and it's a really good relationship, and it's a person with secure attachment style, and they're grounded and looking for something real, right? And we are used to people who are flaky and non-committal. And so what do? We start getting this foreboding sense that something's off, something's wrong, the rug is going to be ripped out, right? Because our nervous system isn't used to things going well, right? So we have to, again, the fine art of learning to discern what is really our intuition, what is our ego, what are defense mechanisms that are being triggered by our nervous system, who's just out of its comfort zone, right? So the more we prepare our nervous system for good things coming, the greater our threshold will be for joy. So maybe get into a state of visualizing having a lot of money and making rich people choices and not being worried about things, and visualize the life that you want to be in. But instead of feeling like it's so novel and exciting, just feel comfortable with it. Like this is old news, right? This is just every day. This is another Tuesday, right? You know, and imagine yourself in that life that you dream of, the ultimate expression of yourself, and imagine yourself just wearing it like it's nothing, you know, like a nice broken pair of jeans, or, you know, like some of the schmata you throw on, you know, just this little thing. All right, you all, that is all for tonight or today. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully in the daylight, and we will do this again. And tomorrow we will be back for our weekly alchemy message. So until then, may peace be with you. Ciao.